Now, another area where Kamala is performing spectacular backflips is energy policy and fracking in particular. The Hill and other media outlets are trying to tell us the Vice President will not seek to ban fracking if she's elected president in 2024, but she's on the record saying she wants to ban fracking.
I am committed to passing a Green New Deal, creating clean jobs, and finally putting an end to fracking once and for all.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So, yeah, and starting with what we can do on day one around public lands, right? And then there has to be legislation. But yes, and this is something I've taken on in California. I have a history of working on this issue.
How important is this issue, particularly in those crucial swing states like Pennsylvania?
Let me think about this. Yeah, really, really important. Yeah, particularly Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is the second largest producer of energy in the country. There are a tremendous amount of jobs tied to it. Additionally, what people really aren't talking about, it's very much a union state, and there's been a lot serious eroding of union support among in the Democratic Party. It was, of course, one of the biggest groups supporting the Democratic Party. You've seen erosion of that. Trump has made a lot of headway in that. Also, so has J.D. Vance, frankly. It's an issue, of course, around jobs. Look, you have to remember that as California Attorney General, Kamala Harris not only backed the banning of fracking, she actually sued the Obama administration for federal fracking off the coast of California. And by the way, also, she was a co-sponsor of the Green New Deal, right? The most radical policy agenda, the greatest expansion of government that we've seen in 100 years in this country. She was a backer. She was a co-sponsor of it. So yeah, that dog ain't gonna hunt when she now is trying to say, hey, I'm not running for president, so yeah, I won't support the banning of fracking. That's just not true. It's not what her history shows. And she will, in fact, do that if she becomes president.
Well, as you said, it's her history. It's not just a position that she formed 5 minutes ago that she can back out of easily. This is in her DNA. This is what she actually believes and positions she's implemented in the past. So I think it's going to be a very hard sell indeed. Now, Harris is also campaigning on her record of being a tough prosecutor. They're trying to paint her as the law and order figure against convicted felon Trump. But she was actually quite soft on crime when it mattered. In recent years, she's backed BLM, she's backed bail funds freeing thugs, she's talked about defunding the police and reimagining public safety. And she's a San Francisco liberal. How much ownership, Army, does she have on what is happening in San Francisco and in California? Yeah,
I wouldn't say she has no responsibility. I mean, she was not only the chief prosecutor of San Francisco, which we've seen the city self-destruct over the years, certainly while she was the prosecutor there, and she was the California Attorney General. We've seen both Los Angeles, San Francisco, San Diego implode with crime and homelessness. Yeah, she has an involvement and responsibility in all of those things. I mean, she never, as California Attorney General, she never enforced California's immigration laws, which led to an overrun of illegal immigrants in the state of California. She, over and over again, decided not to use the death penalty, including the cases of someone who was a cop killer, one was a triple homicide. She was also there, you know, when somebody was trying to get a sex change, a murderer, she used taxpayer dollars to do that. No, you know what I don't like is Republicans say she's an empty vessel, right? They've been there's been an attack that's been going on saying, she does whatever she can to move ahead. I don't like that particular perspective because it really absolves her responsibility. She is, in fact, a hard leftist. She has proven that both in deed and in word. I think you kind of take some of the responsibility off of her when you call her that. So, no, I think she takes a lot of responsibility for the problems in California. And if you want a repeat of what's happening in San Francisco, yeah, elect her as president.
That's a very good point because I think that accusation is also pretty empty because, yeah, politicians will all say things to get elected. I don't think that's really a damning allegation. If you hold her record against her voting record in the Senate, for example, that's pretty poor in itself. Before you go, Ami, we've had reports today that Israel has killed a top Hamas leader in Iran. Ismail Haniyeh was targeted and killed in Iran, according to a statement by the country's Revolutionary Guard. And this comes, Ami, just hours after Israel killed a Hezbollah military leader, its most senior military leader.
Yeah, and all I can say is thank God and God bless Israel for doing that. Ismail Haniyeh was essentially the president or / prime minister of the terrorist state of Gaza. Ironically, wasn't living in Gaza. He was living in luxury in Qatar, as his people didn't have, as they claim, his people don't have food. They in fact do have quite a bit of food that's shipped in from Israel. By the way, the only time I think in recorded history that when you're at war with somebody else, you're providing them with food and energy. But yeah, while they are feeling the brunt of what he did on October 7th, he was living in luxury as a little rat in Qatar. And I think that ultimately we find out how he was murdered. I think it'll be one of the great stories and another legendary story to add to Mossad's storied history. So I'm very interested to see how they actually went about killing him.
And we'll make an amazing documentary. Maybe you'll put it together. Ami Horowitz, thank you so much for your time this evening.